Dallas Cowboys color analyst Babe Laufenberg joining us now as he does every Thursday at this time here on Shan RJ and Bobby. We are your home of the Dallas Cowboys. The coverage again this Sunday with pregame play-by-play and the postgame. We welcome Babe to the program right now on the D&M Leasing Hotline. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. You ready to rock and roll today?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, trivia. Let's get right to it. Okay. So we know we got Adam Thielen, who I really like, by the way. I know he can't run anymore, but that's okay. He's 34 years old. But anyway, he has 655 career receptions. That's pretty good for a guy that was undrafted, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
655. It's only three guys who went undrafted who have more receptions than Adam Thielen.
Oh, gosh.
Can you name them?
Antonio Gates is one.
Right. Yes. Good, Bobby. I thought the other you'd get first.
I mean, Drew
honest.
Pearson, did he get that many?
No, he was like 400 and change.
I have no idea of undrafted.
Wow.
Come on, you guys should get this. You really should.
Give me a decade.
He went to Texas Tech.
Oh, Wes Welker.
There you go.
And then
the
did
other ones-
Danny Amendola also do
Edelman?
Edelman is fifth. Very good. Two of the top five came from Texas Tech. Rod Smith. He had 849.
Wow.
Denver's Rod Smith.
Well
good.
done.
Good
where
work.
do you look these up? Do you have a trivia part? You have an assistant?
No, you know who my assistant is? He's running the board for you guys today.
Okay.
No,
Hey.
but I don't. I just, if you look at enough stuff, and again, because Adam Thielen, they're playing him this week, I'm thinking, gosh. So then you just go look it up, most receptions, and you can find everything now, as you know.
Well,
On the old internet. I got a
appreciate-
question for Choppy here.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have probably been through this, so I apologize if you mentioned it. I do listen, but obviously I don't listen to every minute of every day. So Carolina is favored in this game. It's the first time they've been favored in 33 games.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? Did we talk about that?
Yeah,
we did.
33 games. So here's Cowboys. This is how lowly they're thought of now in the betting community. Cincinnati had lost 4 or 5. They lost 3 straight. They went on the road and they were 6-point favorites. And Carolina, who hasn't been a favorite in 33 games, the Cowboys, we'll make them favorites.
How different does Bryce Young look? Like, is this reminiscent of the people that had him going number one?
Well, he's definitely better, as you would expect, quite honestly, of any quarterback. That was a mess last year. They changed head coaches, they changed offenses, they changed play callers all during the year. So that was a mess. They weren't any good. They're still not good, but they're better. The one thing they did, they went out in free agency and got 2 really good guards. Matter of fact, Damian Lewis, their left guard, to me, he's pretty fantastic. Huge guy. He handled Vita Vea 2 weeks ago from Tampa pretty well. But they're pass blocking better, and I think Carolina has taken the same path that New Orleans took when they had Drew Brees, right? Smaller quarterback, we got to be strong up front. We can't have guys in his lap. So really, New Orleans focused on their center and 2 guards, whereas everybody's looking for tackles, right? Offensive tackles. And I think they're kind of building it the same way. So the pass protection is good. He's been sacked, right at the top of the list for the fewest times. And, he's playing a little better. I think they still need playmakers. They drafted Leggett out of South Carolina. He's been good, not great. Maybe he'll become great. But they're a little limited in terms of the people he has around him.
Is he better?
But the bottom line, he's playing a lot better than he was, no question.
Is he better when he moves or when he stays in the pocket?
Well, you want to make him a pocket passer because he's 5'10". It gets real hard to see back there. It's hard for a guy 6'3" to see, right? And so at 5'10", and he moves. We all know he can move a little, but he's not really a runner. But he can run a little bit. Probably not unlike what you see with Joe Burrow from the standpoint of, is he going to beat you running? If you give him the run, he'll take it. He's a good thrower on the run. I think he's a good passer. If you had Bryce Young, seriously, if you had him in a 7-on-7 league, he'd probably be right up at the top of the guys you would want. He throws a nice ball. He's accurate. It's just he is so limited by his size. And I remember going down very quickly on the field last year when the Cowboys played Carolina, and I actually knew their quarterback coach, knew the head coach. So I'm down there talking to them, and I'm seeing Bryce Young. I'm 10 feet from him. You knew he was small, right? But I'm sitting there going, did this guy win a contest or something to get to play quarterback for the Panthers? He was that small, with just narrow-shouldered, and you looked at it and said, wow, that's not your typical number one pick in the draft. But, again, he's playing well. He's smart. We'll see what happens.
Talk with Babe Laufenberg, Cowboys color analyst here on 105 Through the Fan. Babe, you mentioned Adam Thielen at the start of this thing, and he's been somebody that, since Bryce Young has come back, Bryce Young's really leaning on. But you mentioned 34, older, doesn't run as well. How is he still able to get open and challenge these secondaries and make the impact that he does with some of those physical limitations?
Just crafty, knows how to play the game. Obviously, as we pointed out, he's caught a lot of balls. You talk about quarterback friendly. You hear that term a lot. This guy's quarterback friendly. That guy's quarterback friendly. He is quarterback friendly. I mean, when he's running a route, he sits it down. He presents a target to the quarterback. There's no indecision on what he's doing. You got to admire a guy like that where you say, okay, wait a minute, he's probably running 4, 6, 5 now. I don't know. And he's still beating NFL defenses. And it's all going to be underneath. He's not really a deep threat, but it's not like he can't run at all. But, he's averaging 13 yards a catch, so that's not bad. But I just have a lot of respect for those guys. I always say about Jordan Lewis, Cowboys, he just knows how to play the game, right? And some of these guys, they become these veteran players, and you just look at them and you say, man, that guy just knows how to play the game. And to me, Thielen is one of those guys.
Babe Laufenberg joins us here, 105 Through the Fan. Does them not playing Trey Lance tell you he's worse than we think?
Well, did you see the last preseason game?
Yeah.
When he threw 5 interceptions and earned all those interceptions? So is he worse than you think?
Well, you judging off one preseason game? I mean, what are all the practices in the season for?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, he's a great kid. Let me say that. No, I mean it. I don't want to sit here and.
That's like saying she's got a great personality.
Well, but nothing has said I want to see more of this guy.
Right.
Has any other than him being the 3rd pick in the draft? Okay, and I asked a couple of people who I really respect. They're not Jason and Troy. Okay, just so we know, but they're former quarterbacks. They're in the media. They're doing games, and I said, if Trey Lance was not the 3rd pick in the draft, would he have made the team? And they said, no, absolutely not. So if you judged it on what you saw, you would have said no. Now, there's a reason why he was the 3rd pick in the draft. San Francisco at one point obviously thought he was going to be the savior, and he's a talented guy. He can really run. We know that. He's got a good arm, all these stuff. It just hasn't come together. But I do think, I know where the next question is probably going, and that's fine. It's a legitimate question. When they're totally out of this thing, we're going to see Trey Lance. I don't know if it's going to be in the last 3 or the last 2, but it'd be silly not to give him a couple of starts. And again, while you're still mathematically in it, and you are trying to win games, I agree with Mike McCarthy. This isn't a tryout session. But I think at some point, his contract's up. He's not coming back next year, or he's not under contract for next year. So I would have no objection to putting him out there and giving him a couple games and see if, hey, maybe there's more to it than we saw in the preseason.
We played you and Brad's Aurorier called nonstop.
God, I don't even know what I said.
It was good. But yesterday, I did not think it was good when he gave his explanation and at the end said, "I'm standing by it." Take us through the mechanics of that and what you think days later.
There were a lot of elements. And you know what? I say this a lot, and I say it at the start of every game. Practically, it's not a perfect game. It's not a perfect game for the quarterback, for a receiver, for anyone on the field. Everything happens so fast, right? Don Larson threw a perfect game in the 56 World Series. We've never said, well, that was a perfect game by Tom Brady, by Pat Mahomes, by anybody. And it's just not, and things happen quickly. Now, that said, if you watch the tape, and I did post the block a couple times to my social media if anyone wants to look at it and how it happened. But it's at Babe Laufenberg. But, he's on the sideline. He's practically in the Cincinnati bench because they're double teaming the gunner. He turns back in. He doesn't know if did the ball get fumbled. He had heard, I think, that there was a double thump. You always call it a double thump, right? Boom, foot hits it and the hand hits it. But, you're at the sideline, you come in. And as I said, I know I said this in the game, it's the fog of war, right? You drill it, and all of a sudden it happens. And, you react. And I always say, Jason Garrett and I used to always get into discussions. I won't call them arguments, but he used to say, I want instinctive players. And I said, your job is to coach instincts out of them. Because instinctively you say, I'm going to go get that ball. Do you remember the Terrence Williams? I know this a while back. He needed to get out of bounds. Cowboys had no timeouts. They're playing the Giants. Des Bryant is pointing his hand, motioning to the sideline, like, get out. And he turned it up and got tackled in the field and game over. And again, instinctively, as an athlete, you say, hey, I'm going to go make more yards, right? Instinctively, Wanye Thomas said, I'm going to score here on this kickoff against Washington. So the instinct was, there's a ball, I got to go get it. And I whatever he said after the fact, and I know he said, I don't want to say doubled down, but he took the blame. And then at the end, the last comment was, basically I'd do it again.
Yeah. We got about 45 seconds, babe. How shocked are you? I think it's an NFL crime. The rest of these guys disagree with me that they essentially kicked Belichick out of the league. How shocked are you that he's at Carolina?
I'm shocked only in the sense that there's no connection. If he'd gone to the Naval Academy where his dad coached for many, many years, and we know he has an affinity for the military institutions, I'd have said, okay, well, that makes sense. But, yeah, when I first heard it, I thought, okay, where'd you get that? Somebody said, hey, you hear Belichick? This was a week ago. I said, where'd you get that information? Is that like from Joe and I live in my grandmother's garage.com? Mm-hmm. And then it happened. But it does tell you, I guess, I don't want to say how far he has fallen, but, clearly, and I heard Mike Florio, they're reaching out. He's reaching out to teams. He's available. They can call him. Hey, Bill, don't do anything now. We're going to make a change here. And teams already have made changes, as you pointed out. Chicago probably being at the top of the list. And, they said, no, thanks, but no thanks, Bill. So.
Thank you, brother. Have a fantastic call and a good trip. Babe Laufenberg, trivia extraordinaire, joining us every Thursday at this time.